Hi everybody, it's Michelle, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I make some refills for my Fauxdori Traveler's Notebook. Now, when making your own refills, you have a few options. What I'm going to show you are the booklets that I make that are made with a craft cardstock cover and just blank paper. And I use 32-pound paper, and it's blank, and this is how I'm going to make this book. But you could also use any cardstock. Here's some printed cardstock, or you can use just colored cardstock for the cover. You can also use grid paper. This is another option. I've done this also. I got this giant ream of paper from Amazon, and it's not the best quality. It's very thin, like refill, like loose leaf notebook paper, but it's great for just jotting down notes or scribbling in your book. You can put several of these together to make one booklet. And you can also use watercolor paper or any paper that you have that you'd like to make a booklet out of, as long as it's at least about 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which is the standard size here in the US. You're also going to need a ruler. And I use this was from the Leatherworking, because it's non-skid. It has this corkboard backing and it's metal, and I can't cut it with my rotary cutter, so it's a great ruler to use. And I also will need this rotary cutter, and I will have links to all of this stuff down in the blog post, actually, which will be, the link to that will be in the description box below. And all these links to everything that I use for my Fauxdori will be there on the blog post. So let's get started. So to begin making the booklet, I just put my craft paper, the cardstock, on the bottom, and then I have 10 sheets of paper here, which will make 20 pages back and front, because it's a pretty thick paper and I didn't want the book to be too bulky, so that's all I put in here. If I was using this grid paper, I would put several more sheets in there because it can handle it, because it's so thin. So I just put them together, and I have it landscape here, this is portrait, but landscape wise, and I'm going to fold it in half. Just fold it in half. Just kind of make sure that the edges are even. And I always try to squeeze down in the middle so that I get a straight line once I have it lined up, and then work out from there. So we have it in half, and what you're going to want to do is make sure that you get a nice line. If you have a bone folder or something pretty sturdy, just to kind of work in that fold, just to push it down, make a nice crease on there. Now don't worry about this, we're cutting all of that off. We're going to have to cut here on this side and just a little bit at the top, because we are going to want this to be 11 centimeters wide and 21 centimeters tall. I usually measure everything in inches, but when I do these books, I use centimeters because that is what works best for measuring for the Fauxdori. So first I'm going to cut across centimeters. So I'm just going to measure that out and mark it. And 11 centimeters. The top and the bottom. I'm not going to draw a line, I'm just going to line up my marks with my ruler. Take my trusty rotary cutter and just start cutting. And when you have nice fresh blades, this goes right through like butter. It is so nice. My rotary cutter is very, very old. I bought it many years ago for quilting, but I didn't have new blades. And when I bought new blades to cut all my booklets down, it was like night and day. See, I can tell I already need a new blade, because if it was a new blade in here, we would have been finished already. Just make sure to keep your fingers out of the way, because this will slice into your fingers. You can also do this with a straight edge knife, like a box cutter. Just make sure you have a sharp blade on there. It'll do the same thing. I just like my rotary cutter. See, this right here tells you it's important to have a fresh blade, because we would have been done. And there it goes. So we have that side cut. Now we're going to measure out 21 centimeters. And it's just a little bit that's coming off the bottom, like half a centimeter. And just do the same thing on this side. Just make sure to hold it down tight. Keep your fingers out of the way. And start cutting. This is what I like about the rotary cutter, just the rolling back and forth. And there we go. It's as simple as that. Now it'll fit right into your standard size Midori Traveler's Notebook, or your Fauxdori that's made in the standard size. I've been making these to add to the covers that I've been selling. I don't bind them. I leave them like this so that you can add more papers later if you'd like, because you don't really need to bind them when you're using the elastic. And that's it. See how simple that is? Now remember, all of the supplies will be linked in the blog post, and I will put a link to that blog post in the description box below. If you have any questions about how I made this, just put it down in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. You guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.